because form is spirit, and because spirit has as its function to conform to, configure to, the ideas that God sets into place, it is not bound to carry out death processes, and it is not bound to not, shall I say, reconform visibly as that which is perfectly whole and healthy, where deterioration or injury or accident had been before. The Holy Spirit judges against the reality of the ego's thought system merely because he knows its foundation is not true. Therefore, nothing that arises from it means anything. You see, we started talking about the Holy Spirit. We're talking about the real you. Your attention is being pointed outside the box. Your attention is being directed to that which knows the truth, that is at the bottom line, for lack of better words, the real you right now. So we're talking about something outside of the box, the set of definitions that you have been using to understand who and what you are. You see, you have definitions. Yeah, you're a physical body. Yeah, it can be injured. Yeah, it can get old. Yeah, you can mistreat it and it will suffer. And yeah, if you do it too much or too badly, you can go beyond the point of return. You see, it's not true. We're going outside the box here. The Holy Spirit, your real mind, judges against the reality of the ego's thought system merely because he knows its foundation is not true. There is no box. There are no edges. Therefore, nothing that arises from it means anything. The Holy Spirit judges every belief you hold in terms of where it comes from. If it comes from God, he knows it to be true. If it does not, he knows that it is meaningless. There ain't no box. Whenever you question your value, in other words, whenever you look at yourself through your human conditioning that causes you to see what's called a human condition, say, God, that went right outside the box, didn't it? God himself is incomplete without me. Well, that doesn't make sense at all because we talked about outside the box, but I'm inside the box. You see? No, there ain't no box. And that's what the birth and the crucifixion and the resurrection and the ascension demonstrated. There ain't no box. There ain't no material life. There ain't no matter. It's all the kingdom of heaven, right here, right now, seen clearly or not. But you're never seeing something else. And you aren't ever anything else, anything other than the Christ, seeing it clearly or not clearly. You're never anything less than exactly what God is embodying of himself right where you are, even though the totality of it is not being consciously embraced by you, because you'd rather be tiny and have your own personal perspective and enjoy the thrill of being out of your right mind. Whenever you question your value, say, God himself is incomplete without me. I did not do this during the flogging and the trip up the hill with the cross. I didn't question my value, but it would have been easy. I could have said, what a fool I've been. I'm so out of sync with everything in this world that I shouldn't be surprised that I'm being treated this way. What an asshole I have been. I could have had such a pleasant life like everybody else. No. When you turn to the Holy Spirit, when you go within, to the altar within, and you reach out, you're expressing a devotion to that place where you're bringing your attention. And you express the devotion by actually bringing your attention there. And I never wavered in my having my attention throughout Good Friday on God and letting Him be me. I embodied the statement, God Himself is incomplete without me. Remember this when the ego speaks. Yeah. And there was a lot of ego speaking as I went along the streets, and the jeers and the taunts and, to say nothing of the determination that I was to die from the upper authorities. Remember this when the ego speaks, and you will not hear it. The truth about you is so lofty that nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. Which means that all of your private little thoughts that you enjoy so much, all of the thoughts of tininess and belittling that you engage in about yourself and others, they're not worthy of you because you're not matter. You're not a physical organism. Every evidence of life throughout your body is the movement of spirit, governed by the laws of God, with one intent: to identify the presence of your individuality perfectly. Again, the truth about you is so lofty that nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. Choose then what you want in these terms. Don't be wishy-washy about it. Choose then what you want in these terms, and accept nothing that you would not offer to God as wholly fitting for Him. For you do not want anything else. You don't really want anything else. You're just so damn sure that there is a box, and that things work the way that you think they work, and that there's a beginning and an end, and probably not anything else. But certainly, if there is something else good, it's outside the box. It's after the end. It's when you get to the edge where it's called death. And it's beyond that somewhere. No, there ain't no box. And the kingdom of heaven and the wholeness of you is inside and outside this artificial boundary that everybody believes is real, and which my life undid forever. Choose then what you want in these terms, and accept nothing that you would not offer to God as wholly fitting for Him. for you do not want anything else. Return your part of him, the part that you are. Return your part of him, and he will give you all of himself in exchange for your return of what belongs to him and renders him complete. That's what the crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension did. It returned to God what was God's. By publicly, we will say, in a way that could be recognized by everyone, that a choice was made to honor God rather than the status quo. The choice was made to be outside of the limits of the box everyone at that time thought they were confined by. And it was more important to do that than to conform. I made the choice to return to God the part of him that was his, that was me. That's what it demonstrated. Even right up to the bitter end, I did not yield to the demand to conform to the laws of man. In other words, to the framework of the human condition, the beliefs and belief structures of the human condition. Return your part of capital H, him, and he will give you all of himself in exchange for your return of what belongs to him and renders him complete. That's what my life illustrated, embodied. You hear that word? Use that word. Embodied. Don't be afraid of being embodied. Remember that if God is not embodied, there is no creation. If God is not expressed, there is no creation. And God without creation is an oxymoron. Senseless, meaningless. My life and apparent death, resurrection, and ascension forever changed the world. Join me. And use your life for that. The hard work was done. I assure you. And I will continue to say, come on, guys. Come on, guys. I love you. And I look forward to being with all of you next week.